young man. Okay, ready? Hey, everybody, welcome back to the show. Everyone's favorite Hawk Tua hat wearer, Kurt Mexican, is here. Hey, Kurt, America's
crypto investor, Hawk Tua coin to the moon. Hawk Tua the moon.
Hawk Tua the moon.
Yeah.
So the big news is, by the way, so I just want to let people know. So, I have a lot of these guys who have hate boners for me. Like I was tweeting about that unbelievable, horrible trade that Dallas Mavericks made with the Lakers. It's the worst trade in the history of sports. That's saying something. Know what? That's saying
it might be a good time, Jimmy, to make a Jimmy coin if the hatred is as strong as you say. These hate boners, because I'm in Hawk Tua. The hate boners for Hawk Tua. All the way to the moon.
And so people were literally, I was tweeting, I'm like, why would they make this trade? I tweeted that. And multiple people retweeted it and were like, this is what this asshole's talking about. Why don't you talk about Trump and what's happening? Well, guess what? Your dream has come true. First of all, I already did cover his policy in Gaza 7 days ago. But here's a follow-up. So Trump's Gaza proposal for Riviera of the Middle East sparks global condemnation. Hey, everybody, if you love Six Flags, you're really going to love Two Flags amusement park. Just Israel and America. Yeah, the Riviera. The Riviera of the Middle East. Okay, here we go. Oh, what happened? Oh, I'm doing the wrong thing. Wow, the U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip. We'll own it. That's what Trump has said.
Yeah.
Well, who the hell do you think is actually get paid for it? They don't have any independent money. It's all our money. Israel's just a limb of the United States. Come on. From the river to the casino. Okay, here we go. Ready?
The only reason the Palestinians want to go back to Gaza is they have no alternative. It's right now a demolition site. This is just a demolition site. Virtually every building is down.
So I just want to make one point here before I get to my main point. The one point is that what the rest of the world was saying, that this is just carpet bombing and flattening the whole Gaza Strip. They were saying, no, it's targeted. It's targeted. No, we're targeting. We're the most moral army in the world. We take every precaution possible. And now they're saying, yeah, you know what? Turns out we flattened the whole place. The whole place. We bombed every hospital, every school, every university. We bombed the water. We bombed the infrastructure. It's all gone. It's unlivable. So I just want to let you know that as Joe Biden and Israel was saying for, 14 months, that no, we're targeting. It's targeted. That was always a lie. I just want to make that point.
They're living under fallen concrete that's very dangerous and very precarious. They instead can occupy all of a beautiful area with homes and safety, and they can live out their lives in peace and harmony instead of having to go back and do it again. The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip, and we will do a job with it, too. We'll own it and be responsible for dismantling all of the dangerous unexploded bombs and other weapons.
Yeah, America's going to own it because, Israel would never attack Americans. Liberty. Okay.
On the site, level the site and get rid of the destroyed buildings, level it out, create an economic development that will supply unlimited numbers of jobs and housing for the people of the area. Do a real job, do something different, just can't.
So what I just want I want MAGA to realize what Trump has just said. Trump is just, because the Palestinians ain't leaving. If they've stuck around for 14 months of complete carpet bombing and shelling and 70 years of occupation and a Nakba, they ain't leaving. So what he's saying is the U.S. is going to own it. He's going to send troops there. He's just committed the United States to a war, unless he's bluffing. And so what this is going to require is the United States sending their military there to forcefully move the Palestinians out of Gaza. That's the definition of ethnic cleansing. It's not only ethically and morally wrong, it's also pragmatically ridiculous. And they're never going to put up with it. And so you think the Houthis are going to put up with it? You think the Hezbollah? Do you think Hamas? There's just as many Hamas today as when the war started. So I just want MAGA. So MAGA has done a good job before with the H-1B visas. They stood up and they made their voices heard. This is the opposite of America. He's not. Guess what? 2 weeks into his thing, he's announcing he's going to build a whole new country on the Gaza Strip. He's not building manufacturing factories in Ohio or Wisconsin or Michigan. He's not building high-speed rail in the United States. He's not building infra. He's going to go build in another freaking country.
We're going to call it East Palestine.
They still don't have clean water in Flint. East Palestine's still a mess. But he's got big plans. Altadena, Pacific Palisades. But he's got big plans for Greater Israel. That's his first priority. So this is the opposite of America First. This is the opposite of his non-intervention policy. This is the opposite of all that. This is intervention. This is a committing to another war, because that's going to be a war to get those people out of there. And it will never, it's not, this is, and by the way, and also, this was the plan all along. So the reason why Bibi Netanyahu and Israel funded Hamas, and they knew that the October 7th attack was happening, and they didn't respond for hours and hours, and they also slaughtered a lot of their own people, was so they could use that as a pretense to go and flatten Gaza so they could eventually take it over, because that's what they've always wanted. It's called the Greater Israel Project. So that was the plan all along, and you want to go look at my other video, what we did with Ben Swan, using Israeli news sources. It's crystal clear that Israel knew about October 7th, and they let October 7th happen if they didn't fund it themselves.
Okay, but Jimmy,
yeah,
is it evil to kill women and children on purpose?
Piers,
is it?
Piers,
is it?
Is it? So this is a complete betrayal of what Donald Trump promised when he was running for president. This is not America first. This is Israel first. This is all about Israel. This is about Miriam Adelson. This is about his Jewish donors. This is not about America first. If it was America first, he would be talking about factories in America. He'd be talking about East Palestine in America. He'd be talking about cleaning up the water in Flint and rebuilding Altadena, working class neighborhood that just got wiped out. He'd be talking about rebuilding the Pacific Palisades. There's a million other things he could be talking about. But 2 weeks in, his big project right now is to nation build. The thing he promised we shouldn't be doing. So there you go. And everybody with the... So then they went on, who do you envision living there? Isn't it funny? He's going to rebuild Gaza, but not for the Palestinians. What? Not for the Palestinians. Who do you envision living there? I envision world people. Well, let's listen to him say it.
On what you were saying about the Gazans leaving Gaza, going to other countries. One, where exactly are you suggesting that they should go? And two, are you saying they should return after it's rebuilt? And if not, who do you envision living there?
I envision world people living there. The
world people. Really? Will there be international pancakes there too? Because that's That's about as realistic a question as the proposal working out. Because this proposal, I'm telling you, this is not going to work out. I'm not a good predictor of things, although I did predict this. I said Trump will come in, force a deal, stop the slaughter, and then he's going to do two things you don't like. He's going to give the West Bank away, and he's going to try to get the Palestinians out of Palestine. And that's exactly what he's doing. So I am kind of on a 2-for-2 streak, or 3-for-3. World people, why not Palestinians? That's their homeland. There's another problem here too, right? So all the evangelicals who are more Zionists than Zionists, they think that Israel has to take over Gaza and the West Bank, so then for their biblical stuff to work out. That's what that's all about. That's why evangelical Americans are more Zionists than Zionists, because they think it's the Bible. It's got to happen. So then the rapture or something. I'm not up on it. I don't read the Bible. I'm Catholic.
Rapture's not in the Bible.
It's not? Okay.
No.
So world people are going to live there. So he's just announcing that we're going to do a thing called a war crime. We're going to go in and ethnically cleanse a place. And we're going to use military to do it, which means a war.
That's all done. They already got the cleansing done. Now they're going to do, I think in his head, it's like a casino deal, like natives get casinos. I think it's something like that. I think that's how he looks at it.
That is how he looks at it. All right, let's.
You're going to have a casino.
So let's hear the rest of this.
People, I think you'll make that into an international, unbelievable place. I think the potential in the Gaza Strip is unbelievable. And I think the entire world, representatives from all over the world will be there, and they'll live there. Palestinians also. Palestinians will live there. Many people will live there. But they've tried the other, and they've tried it for decades and decades and decades. It's not going to work. It didn't work. It will never work.
And the reason why it didn't work was because Israel had America in its back pocket. And that's why Israel didn't have to be a good neighbor to Iraq or Iran or Libya or Lebanon or Syria, and especially the Palestinians, because they had all the might and the military power of the United States behind them. If they didn't, they probably would have to either A, be a good neighbor, or B, wouldn't even exist anymore. So that's why it didn't work out, just because for some unknown, just because that it's like, oh, it doesn't just work. It just doesn't work. It's a square peg in a round hole. It just doesn't work. Like they tried it. No, what they tried was occupation with the might of the U.S. military behind it. That's what they tried. So this is a pipe dream that he has. It's making it up. It's turning him into immediately war criminal. And he's immediately turning his back on what he promised people. Here's another one. Trump was asked if he supports Israel's annexation of the West Bank. His response, although cryptic, was to say Israel's too small, effectively saying yes. I say this without hyperbole. If Israel annexes the West Bank, that will be the end of Israel. Whoa. Well, let's hear him say it.
It's a small country in terms of land. See this pen, this wonderful pen? My desk is the Middle East.
My God.
And this pen, the top of the pen, that's Israel. That's not good, right? That's a pretty big difference. I use that as an analogy. It's pretty accurate, actually.
So what is he saying? He's saying Israel's too little? We got to make it bigger? That's what he's saying? That's how I interpret what he's saying.
How much extra pen length are we getting out of this?
Right.
West Bank. Yeah.
And, so if he's going to turn Gaza into, where are those people going to go? Where are those people? And the world people, he's going to replace Gaza with the world people who I guess don't have a problem with waking up screaming every night from ghosts of children pointing at them. They should get a Craftmatic so you can sit up in bed and stare back at them. Are all the we're going to send so if you're going to turn Gaza into an amusement park, you're going to send the Palestinians to Disneyland? Where are you going to send them?
They're going to live at the casino and maintain it on the reservation.
So,
Dude,
and by the way, Trump, when he says this,
It's a small country in terms of land. See this pen, this wonderful pen? My desk is the Middle East. And this pen, the top of the pen, that's Israel.
Hey, size isn't everything. Not everybody can be Ron Jeremy, all right?
Israel can be.
Israel can be. Let's go one more. President Donald Trump proposal for the U.S. to take over war-ruined Gaza and create a Riviera of the Middle East after resettling Palestinians. How about you create a Riviera in the United States somewhere? How about you do that first? How about you go?
That was what the fight was. It was, they're going to resettle the Palestinians here and Europe. This is the only possibilities because the whole genocide got done. Are they going to send the rest of the people to Europe and here, or Trump's going to cut a deal where they have to take them there in some way? I only saw like two possibilities with this.
So
the crime's done.
Before the war, there was like 2.2 million Palestinians in Palestine. Trump keeps saying it's 1.8 million. So what that tells you, and why does he keep saying 1.8 million? Glenn Greenwald pointed out, because that's the number he's being told. And why would they be telling him 1.8 million? That's because they killed way more people than the official count. So if there were 2.2 million Palestinians to start with, and now there's 1.8, I'm not a math major, but that's around 400,000 people that are dead.
I bet it's closer to 1 million left, honestly. I do the double it Carlito's way method. Whatever they're saying, go ahead and double those numbers.
Well, they were saying the official count was like 44,000 or something. But
yeah,
then,
like
then
150 dead in Lahaina.
But and then I saw estimates of 200,000. So you're right, double that. It's probably 400,000, which would bring us to 1.8 million Palestinians left. So
and the world.
After resettling Palestinians elsewhere, has shattered U.S. policy on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, drawing global condemnation. No kidding. The shock move from Trump, a longtime New York property developer, drew rebukes from international powers, including Russia, China, Germany, who said it would bring new suffering and new hatred. Regional heavyweight Saudi Arabia rejected the proposal outright. Really? Let me guess. So do the other Arab countries, but they're going to let it happen anyway, right?
Yeah. Oh, did they condemn it? You don't say. What's that matter?
Trump, in his first major Middle East policy announcement, said he envisioned building a resort where international communities could live in harmony after over 15 months of Israeli bombardment devastated the tiny coastal enclave and killed more than 47,000 people by Palestinian tallies. I'm telling you, that's way more than that. That's not even close.
Oh, are they going to be a real 15-minute city now? Is that what it is?
It's going to be like Vegas, but with more bodies buried underneath your feet.
Oh, that's good luck. Oh, blowing my dice, Ghost.
It's not clear whether Trump will go ahead with his controversial proposal or is simply taking an extreme position as a bargaining strategy. Trump said that he plans to visit Gaza, Israel, and Saudi Arabia, but did not say when he will go. Everybody loves it, Trump told reporters at the office on Wednesday. Everybody loves it. That's classic Trump. Everybody loves it. Did the 1.8 million Palestinians love it? No. How about everybody in Iran? How about the Houthis in Yemen? Do they love it? No. How about Hezbollah? No. Apparently, the people of, well, where is it? The people in Germany, Russia, China, Germany, they said no. They don't think it's great.
Everybody loves it.
Everybody loves it. Michael Milstein, a former intelligence officer on one of Israel's leading specialists on Hamas, said Trump's comments put Israel on a collision course with its Arab neighbors. Maybe Trump is trying to promote pressure on the Arab states so they will not create any obstacles if he tries to promote a normalization between Saudi Arabia and Israel. So maybe. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who met on Wednesday with U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance, would not be drawn into discussing the proposal other than to praise Trump for trying a new approach. Jordan's King Abdullah said on Wednesday he rejected any moves to annex land and displace Palestinians. They already have, I think, 1.5 million Palestinians. Can you see how many Palestinians are in Jordan? I always forget.
Jimmy, let's get down to brass tacks, though, about what really matters. That Gaza natural gas,
that's
now that
right.
we own it, that's our natural gas?
So that's not.
I don't hear the part about the natural gas.
So there's a $500 billion at least in natural.
Approximately 3 million.
Approximately 3 million Palestinians already in Jordan. So yeah, so now they can build that canal. Israel wants to build a canal that competes with the Suez Canal. Am I right about that? Yes. They can do that. They can then get all the gas and be exporters of gas to Europe. That's what they've always wanted too. They'll be an energy exporter.
Wait, remember what BB's video where he's talking to the family about what his plans are with America?
Yeah.
Which are pretty bad. Then he tells them to turn the camera off. Well, now we know the part he said with the camera off.
Egypt said it would back Gaza recovery plans following a ceasefire that took effect on January 18th without Palestine. So Egypt wants them to stay. Jordan wants them to stay. So where are you going to send them? You're going to send them to Canada, because most of Canada's empty. In Gaza, Palestinians living among the wreckage of their former homes said they would never accept the idea. Trump can go to hell, which, to be fair, he goes there 5 times a week. He could go to hell with his ideas, with his money, and with his beliefs. We are going nowhere. We are not some of his assets, said Samir Abu Basel in Gaza City.
Well, don't go off one guy. I mean,
yeah. U.S. National Security Advisor Mike Waltz on Wednesday downplayed the idea of U.S. was walking away from the longstanding Middle East policy. I certainly didn't hear the president say it was the end of the two-state solution. Okay.
Hey, also, will we be preventing Netanyahu from funding Hamas now, at least?
Right?
Now that we own it, are we going to prevent Israelis from sending money to Hamas? I hope that's part of the deal.
An official from Palestinian militant group Hamas, which ruled the Gaza Strip before the war, Israel actually ruled the Gaza Strip.
Yeah.
They said Trump's proposal was ridiculous and absurd. So Hamas says that. Any ideas of this kind are capable of igniting the region, said Sami Abu Zuhri. He told Reuters, saying Hamas, what do you want to say?
It's as absurd as a hang glider attack on a rave.
Saying Hamas remains committed to the ceasefire accord with Israel and negotiating its next phase. I like how they say the Palestinian militant group, which ruled Gaza Strip. How about they never say, oh, he's from Hamas, that militant group that is completely funded by Israel.
The main prison gang of the concentration camp?
Yeah.
I guess.
Itmar Ben-Gvir, a far-right Israeli lawmaker and former minister for national security, said encouraging Gazans to emigrate was the only correct strategy to end the Gaza war and urged Netanyahu to adopt the policy immediately. Really? Gaza residents said after the war and bombs had failed to eject them from Gaza that Trump would not succeed in doing so. As fighting raged in the Gaza war, Palestinians feared they would suffer another Nakba, or catastrophe, the time when hundreds of thousands were dispossessed of their homes in the war at the birth of the State of Israel in 1948. Okay.
Why is Trump saying that they'll just still live there. And is that because there's no way that's possible? Like, I don't understand. Is he just saying that, or because they all like, he's not going to eject us, and I don't hear him saying that. But is that like the secret plan?
Now they fear another round of displacement. We will not leave our areas, said Tamir Jamal, a 65-year-old mother of 6. We have brought our kids up teaching them that they can't leave their home and they can't allow a second Nakba. I think they would be like the third or the fourth Nakba, actually. Nakba means catastrophe, right? So all that carpet bombing Israel did would be the second Nakba, technically.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as we're counting Nakbas.
Yeah. We're into like probably our fourth Nakba at this point.
Yeah. So watch this. It says that right there, President Trump declared on Tuesday that he would seek to permanently displace the entire Palestinian population of Gaza and take over the devastated seaside enclave as a U.S. territory, one of the most audacious ideas that any American leader has advanced in years. Audacious, they call it.
Does that mean good or bad? Is that like infamous with El Guapo? It means famous.
Who would love to sit out and catch some rays on the West Palm Beach? So obviously, these people are saying look at how bold he's being. They're saying audacious in the good way. They're not saying it in a bad way. So,
but see that he didn't. Okay, when I was watching him talk, maybe I missed him saying, "I declare I'm going to expel them." They're saying he declared he's going to have them sent out, but in that meeting, he goes, "No, they can live." What he was saying was even stranger. Like all the world people will live there with them. But when did he say that he's going to expel them? I'm just trying to figure out like.
Well, he's saying that they have. He said no. He said that they would. He said that they would. We're going to build how he said it. Here, I'll play it. He said it. He said they're going to build places for them somewhere else.
Not in Gaza. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The only reason the Palestinians want to go back to Gaza is they have no alternative. It's right now a demolition site. This is just a demolition site. Virtually every building is down. They're living under fallen concrete that's very dangerous and very precarious. They instead can occupy all of a beautiful area with homes and safety. And
he said they instead can occupy a beautiful area with homes. And so he said,
what is that?
I guess he's going to build it somewhere.
Can live out their lives in peace and harmony instead of having to go back and do it again. The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip.
So right there, he said, so they could live somewhere else with nice homes and in peace instead of going back to Gaza and having this conflict again. So his idea is like it doesn't work to have Palestinians living in Gaza. That's his state. But then he did say when they asked who's going to, he said world people, all kinds of people. So when he said Palestinians, I think he means like, a couple hundred.
The ones from the West Bank?
So this is a pretty interesting. Matt Kennard, friend of the show, he says this is why the Gulf dictatorships don't lift a finger for Palestine. Most of them were installed by the British Empire. Satrap mafia families put in place to keep their people subjugated and resources flowing to London and Washington. Similar regime just installed in Syria. That's exactly what we just did. We just installed terrorists, brutal dictator terrorists. The head of Al-Qaeda now runs Syria. And who installed them? We did. The United States and Israel and Turkey. So, and then he shows you Kuwait, in 1752, they were installed. Bahrain in 1783, United Arab Emirates, Qatar since 1847, ruled by the House of Thani. Saudi Arabia since 1930, ruled by the House of Saud since 1932. Political parties banned. There's no free press, no opposition activists. The opposition activists are beheaded. Women not allowed to drive until 2018. They supported Bahrain crackdown, leads Yemen war.
You see Kuwait, it says, I can't remember, most of the key ministries held by the Al Sabah family. I'm pretty sure most of the people in Kuwait, that is their surname.
Oh, really?
Like if you're really from Kuwait, you all have the same last name. It's like a country of one family.
Look, we get how it works. We all saw John Wick 3.
This is the high table.
Whitney Webb says a U.S. long-term ownership plan of Gaza is just a nicer way of saying another U.S. long-term military occupation of the Middle East on behalf of Israel. If you think this will bring stability to the Middle East, you learn nothing from the war on terror era at all. Look how we brought stability to Iraq. Look how we brought stability to Libya. Look how we brought stability to Afghanistan. Look how we brought stability to Syria. Look, we're going to do the. That's not how it works. When you send U.S. military there, you create chaos, havoc, death, and destruction. What?
Oh, but Jimmy, here's the important difference. Those other ones, they weren't entirely carpet bombed first, and I think that's going to be the key for a win here. They've completely leveled every square inch of it. What I don't understand is, now that we're admitting that's the thing, isn't that the war crime that they said they weren't doing?
Yes.
Nothing's going to happen with that.
So she goes on and says, this policy toward Gaza is so extremely neoconservative, it goes even beyond the Bush era. Back then, they at least had to feign occupations were justified by allegedly going after the U.S. invisible enemies. So now we're not even saying we're going after U.S. invisible enemies in Gaza. We're just saying we're going to take over that place and we're going to turn it into to Las Vegas. And that's that. Because we can. They're not even, at least Bush pretended when he went into Iraq that we were fighting the people who somehow did 9/11 and would do it again. And
all these people that were putting this, I think it's obnoxious that all this time and you hear this two-state solution shit, and then you find out the plan was to make sure that could never happen all along.
All along.
And so now, I mean, all the plans, they might as well be like something on TV, because whatever the deals are, they're not telling you them. Like, people are going to say, I denounce this, but they're going to go with it, and all vice versa. And really, at this point, I think he's going to skate on this, because most people don't even like talking about this no more.
I know.
Why don't you just get it out of my sight, And I
but
think it's going to be forced to
talk. But Kurt, they're going to be forced to talk about it, because this ain't going to go the way the Palestinians aren't going to go. Okay.
Yeah.
The Hezbollah is not going to go, okay. The Houthis aren't going to go, okay.
But where do they see our non-binary troops on the border there?
There's just as much. There's many Hamas today as there was when the war started. If you call that a war.
Probably more.
Probably more. So this is the UN Special Rapporteur. Francis Albanese says, the president's plan for Gaza is nonsense, which nonetheless must be taken very seriously. President Trump has basically declared his intention to commit the international crime of forced displacement and resort to unlawful use of force against the Palestinian people and their right to self-determination in violation of the UN Charter, amounting to aggression. Then 191 members of the UN who still have an interest in protecting themselves from this madness better recover from their paralysis and stand united against this imperialist lawlessness. P.S. And in any case, this plan won't work. How do I know? 76 years of failed attempts by Israel, including 16 months of genocidal assault. Indigenous people do not leave their land.
But they do get put on reservations, and that's what's going to happen. But 100%, they don't go of their own accord.
Yeah, so we're going to have to send soldiers over there to herd them into trucks.
Well, probably to protect them from Israel as well.
Michael Tracy says some MAGA ideology expert will have to explain how creating some sort of new U.S. protectorate in the Middle East will reduce foreign U.S. military entanglements. Exactly. This is exactly a betrayal of the MAGA ideology. Will Chamberlain says, not Wilt, you guys aren't thinking big enough about what Trump is saying about Gaza. The Gaza Strip will be ours. American property, American sovereignty, and our overseas territory, not someone else's territory where we are So now we're going to steal it from Palestine.
Wait, where's the gas though, Will? Hey, I'm thinking even bigger, Will.
Yeah.
Where's all that natural gas going? Well, is it our property? Because if it's not our property, then this is like an even worse deal than just the genocide thing. But bygones be bygones.
It says our property where we can enforce our immigration rules. It will reshape the Middle East. We won't be dependent on Qatar to host our military base in the region. We literally will have our own sovereign territory the size of Las Vegas, perfectly located. Do you see this is the exact opposite of what Trump said? We want to pull out of the Middle East. We don't want to do a nation building. We don't want to get these foreign entanglements.
It's more of a casino building, I guess, is what he's saying.
Yeah. Trump's pledge to take over Gaza offered a rare opportunity to hear an American president articulate the logic of Zionism in its rawest, most essential form. The history of Israel is defined by a continuous process of controlling and removing the Palestinian population by force, with the consent of the participation of the majority of its Jewish citizens, in order to demographically engineer a Herrenvolk. I don't know what that is. A
Herrenvolk?
A Herrenvolk pseudo-democracy. Now, Trump has vowed to carry out the final solution on Israel's behalf, and possibly with U.S. troops. Israelis love his genocidal energy, with 80% telling the Jerusalem Post they favor Trump's plan, and only 13% declaring it immoral. Average Americans might be less enthusiastic about embarking on a foreign ethnic cleansing adventure, but as this episode makes undeniably clear, they are not the ones who determine their government's policy when it comes to the Jewish and democratic state.
Jimmy, a Herrenvolk democracy is a nominally democratic form of government where only a specific ethnic group has voting rights.
That's what that is. Okay, so there you go. This is a betrayal of the MAGA ideology. This is the opposite. This is nation building. This is imperialism. This is he's going to have to send American troops over there to forcibly remove people from their own land in an ethnic cleansing operation. And this is the opposite of America first. This is Israel first. Okay, over to stuff.